To announce that the Justice Department has secured felony guilty pleas from the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance.
Actually, it's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Largest virtual.
Binance.
Binance. And let me be clear. It's Binance.
Binance.
Binance. Council has discussed crypto regulations and legislations at length, and we have come to the conclusion that instead of regulating, we are going to ape a fat bag each into laptop and pump it to over $1,300,000,000,000,000,000,000 market cap. Let's fucking go, crackheads.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we have to talk about all the things that are going on in the world right now. Nice news are rolling in, unexpected to a certain degree, and we are obviously going to talk about the trade deal between the US and China. We're talking about ceasefire in crisis regions and peace treaties. We are going to talk about the altcoins that are really moving nicely, and we are obviously looking at the indicators, what they are telling us, what's going to happen next, and what is the trajectory that Bitcoin is probably taking together with crypto, and what the strategy here should be across the next weeks or months, very likely. So make sure to stay all the way through here. But first of all, good morning to each and every one of you. I know it's the Monday, it's hard to be on morning streams, especially it's hard to be in a Monday morning for most of us, right? Which is why we are in crypto, why we're trying to change the game a little bit here. But may I please still ask you to smash the like button, very important, and also make sure to be subscribed if you haven't yet. Make number go up, right? Notifications on, so you never miss out of a live stream. And thank you so much to my rare hodlers for always supporting me here on this journey. Thank you so much. And I see a couple of people are already in the chat. I see Felipe, good morning to you. I see Divinder Singh, awesomeness refined, absolutely. And I also see Aiden Urson is pumping hard. I see that as well as Robert. Good morning to you as well, guys. Don't forget to smash up the like button and let's jump right in. So Bitcoin is looking really nice over the weekend. We have held our levels jumping into the daily a little bit. We are seeing that we have basically reached the level of the expected overhead resistance, as we see it here, right? Exactly that level. We are encountering resistance once again after we've bounced here nicely on somewhere at 74,000, and that was absolutely expected. And you know what, this could even be a really nice setup, right? Because let's just say we are getting rejected here and coming back a little bit, even maybe testing 92,000 again, and then coming all the way up once more. Well, you know what, then we have ourselves a nice inverse head and shoulders here once again, just as we see it in the more macro pattern, right? I'm not saying that this has to happen. We could just have the markets open massively in the green on the US trade deal, which we're looking at in a second. And blast through here, right? Because you know that also overhead resistance gets weaker the more you knock on this wood, right? And we have here already the fourth time that we are approaching it, right? Oh yes, Grogu and Pram, exactly. Now, it's not a cup and handle anymore. It's a Grogu and Pram. So we would see ourselves break this sooner or later, I'd say, right? Now, breaking, US announces China trade deal in Geneva. This is not a drill. This is the official White House account on X, and they posted this yesterday. And basically, Scott Bessent, the Secretary of Treasury, says, I'm happy to report that we made substantial progress between the United States and China in the very important trade talks. First, I want to thank our Swiss host. Swiss government has been very kind in providing us wonderful venue, and I think that led to a great deal of productivity we've seen. We will be giving details tomorrow, but I can tell you that that the talks that mistake would be crucial, right? But I can tell you that the talks were productive. We had the vice premier, 2 vice ministers who were integrally involved, Ambassador Jameson and myself. I spoke to President Trump, as did Ambassador Jameson last night, and he is fully informed of what is going on. So there will be a complete briefing tomorrow morning. So this briefing is coming today, right? And then this Jameson Greer says, this was, as Secretary pointed out, a very constructive 2 days. It's important to understand how quickly we were able to come to an agreement, which reflects that perhaps the differences were not so large as maybe thought. That being said, there was a lot of groundwork that went into these 2 days. Just remember why we are here in the first place. The United States has a massive 1.2 trillion trade deficit, so the president declared a national emergency and imposed tariffs, and we are confident that the deal we struck with our Chinese partners will help us to work toward resolving that national emergency. So basically what's the bottom line here? They are going to announce whatever trade deal. People, or rumor has it that it's going to be a 0 for 0, but also the announcement could drive the markets higher, and the tariffs probably go away to a substantial amount, right? So that is important to realize here. Hey Mewtwo, good to see you. Good morning, Hodler fam. Absolutely. G-Flow, I will come to that a little bit later if possible, right? But I will answer it. For top 5 VeVe grades, we could go over that in a VeVe section here. It's going to be a historic week, strap in. Yeah, let's see if this trade deal is priced in or not, right? Quick look at the other news, because we are not stopping here. We also have, during that weekend coming in, Indian stocks lead against Asia Pacific as markets cheered a ceasefire with Pakistan and the US-China trade deal. White House announces the trade deal. First Chinese freight ship goods hit with Trump's 145% plus tariffs arriving at US ports. Well, that might be out of the way before they can unload that ship. Who knows if that really is then subject to that. European stocks set to follow global markets higher, whatever that word is, buoyed by US-China trade deal. Sorry for that, but I've never seen that word in my life. Anyways, so that is basically happening. And also a big warning for US stocks, because Jim Cramer spent time in Europe, and that gave him a perspective on US and stocks. So beware. But it seems that the stock market is going to go open big fat in the green. We see it already here. Asia pre-market, the pre-markets, everything's green. US, that is still from last week, right? Bonds green. So we will see, but this could drive crypto quite a bit, right? Also, what's going to drive crypto very likely is this. Michael Saylor posted this on the weekend, said connect the dots, right? So there, Bitcoin went high. So there, he's basically saying that he's going to print another dot here. So probably strategy is going to buy more Bitcoin into that enthusiasm here, which probably is only going to fuel this rocket ship, right? That's going to be epic. So according to some people in the in this let's say Wall Street cheat sheet of sentiments, we are only here just at optimism stage, which could be, but I'd say we are rather in the belief stage somewhere on this last ride. Maybe we are here on this last pump, like somewhere between optimism and belief. I think many people believe that now that this rally is real. What's the belief stage? Time to get fully invested, right? Who knows? Maybe most people are already all in. And then we'll get into the I will buy more on margin, gotta tell everyone to buy. This is somewhere the phases that we are in, right? Did you already tell everyone to buy Bitcoin? But it's not only Bitcoin, right? It's not only Bitcoin. But we'll also have a quick video of the Coinbase CEO, only 35 seconds, but listen to this. This is also interesting. And I'll get the chat a little bit to the side. There we go.
But I think it's clear at this point that Bitcoin is a better form of money than gold. It is provably scarce, just like gold, but it's more portable and divisible. So you can actually use it. Has higher utility, I would say, and it was the best performing asset of the last 10 years. And so for store of value, I think it's going to be important for governments to hold this over time. It might start with being 1% of their reserves, but I think over time it'll come to be equal to or greater than gold reserves.
Okay, great. Well, let's go to the next question. Let's go to the lady over there.
Yeah, next question doesn't interest us, but what he said is very, very true. And if you only imagine 1% of any nation state's reserve, it's going to be completely mind-blowing, right? We don't know when it happens. The slower it happens, the better for us, because then we can still stack some Satoshis. The question here also is the risk of phase over? Question mark, because gold has very long sell wicks on the top right now. So maybe that could be the gold top here. We don't know yet. But for sure, with this reduced risk environment where the trade war is called off, the India-Pakistan war is called off, and many other things like Russia-Ukraine more likely coming to an end, maybe that is where gold is going to start declining again. Who knows, right? We don't know that. I'm just speculating here, so please take care. Nonetheless, Bitcoin should be still catching up where gold moves sideways. It has also like that or been like that in the previous bull run, right? When gold finally reached its top, we see that here a little bit, right? Gold pumped massively, Bitcoin followed, and then when gold already hit its top, Bitcoin really went nuts. So maybe this is the top. Bitcoin goes nuts right now. Who knows? But gold is a nice lead for us to take a look at. Also, USDT slowly but surely being allocated to the market. We didn't see anything yet, but it's really nice sequence of USDT dominance heading lower, and we are going to approach over time on this monthly chart this support here, and then we will see very likely this support also to break, and all hell breaks loose in terms of USDT allocation into the market, right? Altcoins. Let's talk about altcoins quickly, then we go back to global M2. But altcoins, and we're going to look at the altcoin market, some altcoin projects that are moving nicely. We have MCADE, we have Vechain, we have Chappies, we have a couple of things, right, that we have been frequently talking about on this channel. But overall, this is the crypto total market cap, excluding BTC, excluding ETH, and excluding stable coins, right? And we have really nicely bounced 2 times here now, and this bounce is very, very likely followed by a new all-time high this time in the altcoins. But until they are challenging the new all-time high in and I'm talking collectively, right, in terms of market cap, not on your individual altcoin. It's not guaranteed that every altcoin is setting a new all-time high, but the collective market needs to push another 22.5% from here just to challenge its previous all-time high. And then we'll see, then we'll go into discovery here, and this is going to be epic, right? This is where the players that survive, the players with good fundamentals, the players that are playing the correct fiddle, the correct niche, are going to pump hard, right? And we see it also on Bitcoin dominance. Many people show the following chart. 1 second. Let's have that loaded here. If it's loading. TradingView wants to fail on me. Let's check this out. Come on. There we go. This is what people show, right? This, or even 4-hourly charts, right? And then they're like, Bitcoin dominance is breaking down hard and so on, right? But the truth is, even on the weekly, it looks really nicely. But if you look at on a monthly and you zoom out, this is how it looks, right? And we had that many times before. We cannot be careful enough here to see that, hey, maybe we are going to continue to rise first more, right? It's just not a given that we are breaking down here more. It looks nice from the alts, but we can get smashed once more and have Bitcoin rise another 2 or 3 months, so that all liquidity is getting sucked out of altcoins, right? Do you have personal set sell targets for your crypto coins and VeVe collectibles? Yes, I do. Not so much for the VeVe collectibles, but for the altcoins. For the VeVe collectibles, I still have to think about what that would be. But I think there's also more time. So let's see. Oh, by the way, Stu, you said it's going to be a historic week. I didn't even see really that it was you there. Sorry for calling a gold top, but probably it's wrong anyways. Who knows, right? Okay, global M2, right? We see, or we are seeing, let's refresh it here a little bit. We are seeing that the global expansion of this M2 is really leading with a more than 90% correlation here. And we see that the curve is just going up here, right? At the moment, we're just starting to coil up. This, by the way, it seems, I think you need a pro account or something like that to have the full data. But yeah, it should be up, right? I don't know. Yeah, I can't access that right now. This is also important. I am going to play this video here because many people they just come to realize how that all works, right? How the world really works in terms of finances, right? I'm doing extremely poorly in the VeVe challenge, I tell you that. I'm like place 750 with 60 points or so, but there you go. Just let's quickly listen to this professor, and then we are going to go over the altcoins and Ecomi and VeVe.
I didn't realize that if the average year the money printer goes, call it 8 to 10%, even in the Western countries, even in the OECD nations, and the average return on the S&P 500 is, call it 9-ish%, including dividends, maybe 9.7, maybe a little less, that it means that all of the work of the S&P 500, all of the value created there is actually the money printer. That to me was startling. I mean, to think about
Fugazi.
That the fundamental notion that in a closed system or even an open system, when you're printing money at the rate of 8 to 10% a year, everything is losing value, and the things that appear to be gaining value are not gaining value. They're just keeping you even. So you can put all your money in the S&P 500 and you're not gaining any relative wealth at all. That's a startling insight. I mean, when you really think about the entire value of the S&P 500, on average, over a long period of time, not even a long period of time, is equivalent to the money printer. That's, to me, a shock. And it was a shock that said, oh my goodness, how do you think about creating wealth that is relatively greater in this economy? And you have to look hard. The other thing you can imagine is I could tell you about Sharpe ratios and diversification. I could tell you all these different things. And, it's interesting. You can take a concept like diversification of risk, and at a top level, it can be a very powerful and useful tool. But if you are so focused on the mechanistic aspect of that, you can step back and miss the forest, which is in a highly diversified portfolio, it's unbelievably hard to pick up relative amounts of wealth. It is. Diversifying your portfolio, however you do it, is by and large going to reduce your incremental gain in wealth, irrespective of the Sharpe ratio. It's concentration of capital in specific bets that outperform the money printer where you actually create wealth. That was a shock to me. I just didn't get it. I didn't understand it. Even though I taught finance for 20 plus years, I'm still a professor at NYU Stern, at Stern Business School. I've taught strategy and finance for technology, media, and entertainment companies. I'm on a 2-year hiatus, but I'll be presumably going back in the spring.
Okay. So I think this was really good, right? And I mean, he's really honest. But there are a couple of key takeaways that I want to address once more. Mewtwo is already saying it. So your profits from the S&P are just an illusion. Exactly. All the profits are an illusion. For example, one thing that is an illusion is that the house prices are all going up, and that buying a house is a good investment, right? It's a narrative that is being placed, right? But for most people, it's unclear that this is just a representation. So let's say you calculate how much the housing prices went up over the last 10 years or so, then you get to similar annual returns on these prices as he just mentioned for the S&P 500 and whatever is printed up by the money printer, right? Because usually, and this is also something we need to keep in mind, what happens with your TV, right? I mean, look at the flat screen size of what is diagonal 65 inches, right? Something like that. 10 years ago versus today, the price is even going down. Even with money printing, price is basically going down, right? You get a monitor for your computer, something like that. All tech stuff, it's getting cheaper, right? If you're looking at older iPhone generation, it's even the iPhone itself, like it's at $1,500 or something like that. It's technically going down in value in tech. Why isn't it happening in other parts of the industry, right? Because it's artificially maintained to go up, right? Everything that people perceive as an investment needs to go up, right? Because otherwise people will not vote for you. So you will make it so that it goes up. I mean, imagine a world in which you buy a house and it would go down in value over time, right? Even cars are not that anymore. Like cars were also like this. You buy it, you lose half the value, and then it goes down in value over time. Now it's different, right? I mean, it's still that you lose half of the value in the first year probably, but cars are basically unaffordable for a greater part of the population, right? And this is the key point. With the S&P 500, you are still outperforming every other poor soul that is not investing, because they just get it printed away. Basically, if your starting point with your salary and your money is you have that and you get minus 10% every year, right? That is the starting point. Minus 10, minus 10, minus 10 every year. If you put it in S&P 500, you are 0, 0, 0 maybe, or minus 1, minus 2, in some years minus 5%, right? But you're preserving capital and you can still afford things because everyone else is falling behind, right? So that is also the reason probably why so many people that are falling behind are inclined to vote for certain parties and so on that then promise to take away from the others and give it to them, right? So and then you have things that really outperform, and it's not much. It's probably there are not many assets that do that, but everything with a compound annual growth rate beyond these 10-12%, that's where you really outperform and generate wealth. But then also, if the wealth difference is only 2%, then it takes too long because your lifespan is not enough to have this compound effect bring you to where you can really enjoy that. It's like, oh, I'm investing since 97 years and now I can enjoy the last 11 minutes of my life, right? So, yeah. Yeah, he mentioned Sharpe ratio. 1 second. Going to look that up. Sharpe ratio. There you go. Let's just read that up together, guys. In finance, the Sharpe ratio, also known as the Sharpe index, the Sharpe measure, and the reward to variability ratio, measures the performance of an investment such as a security or portfolio compared to a risk-free asset after adjusting for its risk. It is defined as the difference between the returns of the investment and the risk-free return, divided by the standard deviation of the investment returns. Okay, so I'd say the first part makes sense, right? To have basically a risk-free asset, which is then risk-free is only what is risk. I mean, the defining of risk-free is weird here, but it's probably meant like staying in cash, right? Which is called risk-free. But since we have already, I mean, we've just talked about this, the risk-free is nothing anymore, because if you have this level of money printing, then staying in cash is also very risky, because no, it's basically guaranteed, right? Maybe risk is if the probability outcome is 100%, maybe that's considered risk-free, as you're definitely going to get your money printed away, right? Hope this helps, jury. But yeah, it's a good question, right? We need to understand exactly what's being said here. But it's also interesting the part of diversifying, right? You could, if the more you diversify, the less it's possible to make that wealth. And I would also underline that, because, for example, we are very inclined to have a lot of altcoins, right? It's very difficult to perform research on so many altcoins and so many projects, right? So the more you diversify, the more difficult it will be to know when to take profit. And I bet half of you would rather have less altcoins than more altcoins, right? At least half of you. It's including me. I have too many altcoins. So I try to, whenever the time is for altcoins, really, when they're shining, I'm going to try to reduce that massively for the next cycle setup, right? I mean, I'm going to move out of most of my altcoins, if not all of my altcoins, in the cycle anyways, until I re-enter them, right? At least that's the plan, yeah? And you know what they always say, and they said it to me in the army as well, the first thing that goes away in battle is the plan. Like the first bullet fired and the plan has changed, right? So we don't know. We don't know yet how it's going, but very likely I have a plan. At least I have a plan that I can stick to. Let's put it that way. So what's pumping today? So today altcoins are a little bit mixed. We have a couple of things that are moving. Floki is up 7%. Pi is pumping 41%. With 23%. Casper is on 16%, but some things are also red. If you look at the week though, some altcoins did crazy performances. Like we have altcoins in the hundreds of percent on the week. We have Pepe 68%, Arbitrum 41%, Doge close to 40%, the Graph 30%, Vechain 23%, and so on, right? So we see a lot of gains in the market. IMX 31%, also really good. Even on if you put it on a monthly, we even have Pango 188%. We have Virtual leading the charge with 256%. Bread 180%. Vechain 40%. So we see many things are going up nicely. Almost all altcoins across the board have a 40% performance on the month. Even some are pumping, like look at Nero here, 564%, Chill Guy 380%. Memes are still extremely hot, right? And that brings me to some of the altcoins. Let's check them out here. There we go. For example, Vechain, right? Because someone, Supreme Powers also said that here. That is not the right chart, my friends. Everything is on USDC all the time, right? There we go, right? So we are coiling up nicely. Let's get that out of the way for a second here. We are coiling up nicely here from this potential double bottom here. And we are very likely going to challenge next our previous high at our previous candle close high at this level here at 4.7 cents. Very likely for Vechain. This is the next step to come all the way up here, 50% move almost, and then hopefully breaking through this where we see this massive sell pressure that came in. Maybe these sellers are now out of the market, right? Very important. Hey, Green Lantern, what's going on? Pro Legendary also. Good to see you. Green Lantern says, GM boys, greetings from the sunny Heidelberg. I hope you are better already. Green Lantern. Hope you're better already. By the way, we have over 37 people here right now looking at Vechain. So please smash up the like button, please, pretty please, because that is the single most important thing for YouTube channels out here. And if you enjoyed it, if you like the work that I'm doing, then please let me know. By the way, we are on the monthly here for Vechain, right? So don't get that wrong. We don't care too much about the lower time frames. We are on the monthly. We are bouncing nicely, and look at what is unfolding here for us. The last time that we had a bull cross for Vechain on the monthly stochastic RSI, we pumped all the way from here up to 8 cents, a 293% move. This bull cross is about to come in again. We had it here. It's about to form again. It didn't form yet, but our initial position is way higher than where we were the last time when the bull cross happened. So we are now sitting at 3 cents, and I expect us to break the previous cycle high here for this cycle at close to 8 cents. And I expect us to go to 8 cents and breach that. And someone asked whether I have a plan for taking profit or not. I do have. So look at this. My first profit taking is at 8 cents again, right? Again. Then 19 cents, maybe in between, some smaller, like take a percentage here and there. And then an ultimate goal at 45 cents if we break all-time high to sell, basically everything, right? Also, it depends a little bit on the RSI. If I see, for example, that the RSI is getting into the overbought territory at over 90, already at 19 cents, I might sell most of it there. We will see. But first of all, we want to see that. And if you're looking at the RSI right now at 3 cents, my God, we are not even close to where we are going to be for Vechain, right? Another big banger pick here from our channel is Metacade. I hope you did pay attention during the last streams. And I would argue that even though we have a nice pump, we are still in an accumulation range for MCADE, right? We are basically in the between these two price lines, and we have just pumped a little bit here in the last week. So overall that week placed a nice 130% move. It doesn't look like it from afar, but I mean, look at that. We are just we are just waiting until this goes up and breaks. The momentum is already to the upside. I would say that very, very soon MCADE is going to challenge its previous high, its all-time high at 5 cents. And I would say that's definitely a coin to what is the market cap? But I'd say this is a coin that could do 100x. MCADE could do 100x. MCADE is sitting at a $34 million market cap, and I'd say a 10x should be a no-brainer here. It would be 340 million for a gaming coin, platform, whatever. We are up 84% on the week, 84% on a month, and 95% on the year. So not that much, right? We are on almost no exchanges, but these exchanges are coming right in the hopefully in the right direction. A nice volume of 3.83 million on the day, which is really good for only $34 million, right? So I'd say MCADE, maybe there could be a pullback or so, which could still poise a good entry, but MCADE is definitely going, right? Then another one that had a massive move is Chappies. Let's also look at that one. Look at that. It might still not be out of the slump, right? We have all this downtrend, but this is happening eventually to any of these coins from a downtrend. And what we see is it took out this high at least. So maybe this could be the bottom formation. Also, the TSI is crossing here, which looks nicely. The momentum is up. So Chappies there's still much sell pressure coming in, but Chappies went all the way back to 0008. I have some Chappies, so please consider that also as I am reporting about this because I have that, right? So let's see what's happening. We would definitely want to see some real nice bottom formation here to consider a turnaround in Chappies. But I mean, there are coins that behave like that, right? I mean, if you look at VeVe, for example, you look at VeVe had something similar, right? Falling, negative news, and then bam, back to all-time high in no time. Now we are fiddling around here in between two supports. This could be already the bottom formation here for VeVe before we continue, go up and challenge the previous all-time high once again, right? So let's see here, VeVe going probably then beyond the $1.7. I'd say 10x from here is absolutely possible. I'd rather say way more than a 10x if we get a proper alt season, right? So this is VeVe, also hopefully interesting to you. And finally, if you will see these charts here, we might also talk about Ecomi, right? As it's heading down again, right? Lower high than here. So we are not done here. We are not sure if there is a bottom forming, but if you look at the trajectory, you have something similar, right? You're going down, everything's down, right? It's down, but we have massive volume coming in here at this point, and let's maybe compare this also. Here we don't have it, to be honest, at least not on this exchange. Let's check if we have it on MCADE. I think we do. Yeah, here we had it. Here we don't even have that much volume. So what I was looking for was a couple of coins that when they are bottoming, they have this spike in volume. Right now we are seeing that, right? Sellers and buyers, they are going more nuts on Gate.io. It's for sure interesting to observe, but I said before, right, for Ecomi, that I want to see this proper bottom formation, and I just don't see it yet right here. I want to see first that we are not putting in lows anymore, but be very much aware that if you're seeing something like that, it can very quickly turn around in the sense that you bounce here and then you print something like this, right? Where you go very, very high in a short time, right? Like we did here, but then sustainable and stay on higher level, right? At some point, I would say this will happen. Okay, that for Ecomi. Now let's talk about. Let's answer the question of the grails, right? And also see what Mark D said before. Let's get into the VeVe collectibles here. So for the VeVe NFTs, what are my top 5 grails? Definitely Grogu and Pram. I will say that. I have one, so I'm biased. But also, it's it's my favorite collectible in the entire app. I would say. Like I've never played so much with AR, and the floor is now already. I bought it at 70. The floor is at 179. So I would say that's definitely a big fat grail in the app, right? I would say that. Okay, so here are a couple of classic grails, right? One is partner statue. That's, I think, this one, right? Disney partner statue. I'd say this is an undisputed grail, right? It's sitting at $1,000. Then Miles Morales, Spider-Man. Now we are going to find a lot like comic results as well. We only want the collectibles. We are talking about this secret rare animated, right? There are 11 only in the market, and the price is $7,000, right? I would say that's a big grail. Then Spider-Man. Is it written like that? Let's see. Only the collectibles. And we're talking about this set. Show more. And we're talking about the secret rare of that set. There we go. Spider-Man Ultimate Animated. This is the first Spider-Man. So I would say this Spider-Man, the Miles Morales, the partner statue. This one's going for about $2,000. And the Grogu, right? So these are 4. And what would be another one, like a 5th one? Let's say. So and you see these are all like Marvel and Star Wars and Disney, right? So with a partner statue. I'd say another grail would... Oh yeah, one grail, of course, is from the comics, right? I think I have to stay in the market, right? Yeah, I don't want to go to the VeVe comics side right now. Of course, Marvel Comics 1. Okay, that doesn't work. Marvel Comics. Okay, MC. I just wanted to pull up MC1. Okay. Let's go to comics. What did I do wrong? Did I misspell that? Or is the search function just not working properly? But maybe we also see it because it's traded quite a bit. But that would be my grails. Like, and maybe you have to do a top 5 within the comics, because I'd say that in the comics you have a lot of grails as well, which would be Avengers 1, MC Comics 1, Fantastic Four number 1, Amazing Spider-Man number 1, and maybe what could be the 5th one? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe one of the 40s, just for fun. But I mean, there you decide for yourself, right? So the Mandalorian comic, this is dropping still, I think, right? Or did it already drop? I don't know. I have no clue. I thought that is dropping only this week. But let's check out the numbers on VeVe also with a quick refresh so we can also analyze the market movement. Oh yeah, A15, sorry, yeah, that's very true. Also Avengers, what is that, 8? Avengers 8 or so? A15 is very big grail, yeah. A15 is the grail, I forgot that. We are getting still more users here, right? We see this coiling up. Funny thing is that for Star Wars, we didn't get such a jump on this Star Wars drop as we did on the other Star Wars drop. So it seems that maybe that $70 was a bit of a price barrier here for new users. But what is really good, and I will repeat that again, is we just saw, if we're going in the market, that Grogu and Pram is traded at $180, right? Which means, and also the Mandalorian is around drop price. That means that people are getting, flippers are getting money going for the drop, right? Which means that, and also it's sold out, this variant sold out, which means that people are more inclined to buy if they can make money on the secondary market, right? So in that regard, I would say Grogu and Pram was a really nice drop, right? Something that collectors want, something that investors are confident to invest in, and something that where flippers can make money. That's the ideal composition of a nice and healthy secondary market, right? Many people are like, the flippers and so on. I think that it's important because it just helps the ecosystem in the sense that it provides liquidity, right? It provides also money to VeVe, and then people are going to buy on secondary. In this case, for example, the flippers that are gambling on special mints, they are providing now the market with a lower priced Grogu normal one here, which also you can buy. Or for example, here they are going to down with a price on the red Stormtrooper to $219, 21% of the initial drop price, which is, for me, for example, that is looking to buy one or the other Stormtrooper here, is a really nice deal, right? So maybe I'm going to just into the secondary market and I'm going to buy this Stormtrooper for like easy peasy low price, right? Hence, reducing the offering here for those, and then maybe even causing that some people will mint more, right? We are going to see that also here. Look at this. People are minting. This is a couple of minutes ago, like 3 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago. They minted the Grogu. They transferred one here. This is the Marvel Comics, right? I wrote that correctly. I don't know why the search doesn't why it doesn't show up. Right, but we see it here. Also here, 8 minutes ago, a Grogu and Pram sold. So it's selling at that high price, right? At around $180. Maybe it was listed a little bit lower, we don't know, right? Member Trooper here. 1, 2, 3 Grogus minted by the same wallet, right? Also here, Grogu, mini Grogu transferred. Here, another, like this Grogu. Actually, let me check how many there are left of this Grogu. Of the small Grogu. Because if that's selling out, 1 second, we need to get to collectibles. If that's selling out, then it's probably good to grab one at these prices rather than when it's sold out and the price is going. I mean, it's only $6 below floor, this, and I would believe that probably only half is sold out. Yeah, not even. Look, there are 2,000 editions remaining, and 3,000 were launched. So that not even 1,000 of those are in the market, right? It would be interesting if they'd burn that one, or if they just leave it there. Probably with this, I don't know. People are probably hunting for the 2019 edition. We will see about that. But still, by the way, that also means that VeVe did quite some revenue on that drop, right? Also, this is going to drop next, and we are very likely going to stream it. I think it's on Tuesday. You see it here, the pod racers, right? They are going to be $30, and there's a chase here, as well as some of these pod racers being way more scarce, right? And these helmets are also dropping. Look at that! Wow, these are looking really nice. These helmets are looking really nice for especially these two. Like, this is crazily good. This one with the magma impact. I don't know what the price point is though. What's the price point of this? $5? Is that craft? Oh yeah, you need that to craft. Wow, you need, okay, so you can craft that with a lightsaber. What? Wait a second. Oh, these are all crafts? Wait a second. But only those are crafts. I can't believe that 4 years passed since I got my first collectible Invisible Woman or Electra. Yeah, and these are really down. But this one looks really nice. Woo! That one, I would go for that one, you know. But anyways, guys, enough with today. We are looking at a really nice week ahead. Did anyone play the Star Wars Racer on Nintendo 64? Man, I could play that game all day back in the day. Oh yeah, I did play it on computer, but that was a racing game with the pod racers, right? Yeah, I did play that a lot. I really good memories. Guys, make sure to smash up the like button here right now. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Notifications on, and stay tuned for more Crypto Morning Coffee, drop streams, videos, shorts, everything, right? We are going to provide way more here. So wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon.